Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to a lawn mowing simulator. Again, trying to just keep things going that I haven't visited in a while. It's pretty rare. I mean, I'll let you know in most cases when I'm done with something, or at least thinking about it, but obviously I didn't drop any of that back in the past because that's not the situation I was at. So again, it's been many months, but for those of you who've been looking for this, hopefully you're happy. For those of you that are new, go back and watch the old episodes and catch up from the start. Alright, so let's make sure that everything is maintained. So, because what I don't want is a situation where, you know, we're going out to work and we've got problems. All right, so we've got what options today? We've got in essence a mowing, another mowing. I think these are all mowing. Old Nook Cottage, our favorite place. The garden. This one's new, I think. The Davies Garden at the Hilltop House. Let's see. Let's make sure. It's a general cut. Requires a mulcher. So I think I'm okay. So I gotta do an eco mower. The vehicle. Yeah, we'll go ahead because probably all that means is I might need to get in there with the trimmer or the strimmer. But, you know, it's a more environmentally friendly focus. The lawns around the thought-provoking installation by modern artist Michael Davies require a general cut with an eco-mower with either a mulcher or collector. Be very careful not to damage anything or high fines will be incurred. So we're going to confirm that. And then, let's see. I don't remember. I don't know that I know what that is. So, so we got 985, 560, 295, 325. So in theory, like I should put her on this. Obviously, we need to give her the equipment we don't have. And so we've got the contracts assigned. Now, the question is, can she do multiple contracts? I'm curious. No. Okay. Never tried it, so I'm like, let me try this and see, because, yeah, if it's like, if I could get her, you know, doing some work, that would be great. Like, you know, multiple things each day. All right, so it's like a hashtag, ampersand, sign. Interesting place. Definitely not been here before. Whoops. Gotta go do the ground check. Crazy me. Alright. There we go. I'm like, we are not finding things. So I usually like to go around the perimeter. I've got 3 of 5 already, so this seems to be doing okay. Oh, I think I see one over there. A little further away. Are they rocks? Can't even tell. Doesn't really matter. But now let's get closer around this installation. And there we go. So ground check is completed. We got it done nice and early. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look like, oh, we can't get it in. Wow, nice car. So get things started, and then we need a 5 and a 6 centimeter cut, so we need to change the height. So let's see. All right, we'll do it at 6. And again, our wonderful, happy, eco mower. So there we go. We probably need to be careful with the walls too, but it's relatively high in the cutting, so we're going to want to be kind of careful, because otherwise we can jam things up. But if you're new to Lawnmower Simulator, this is kind of it. It's pretty simple from that standpoint. So the worst challenge with this is the camera angles. It's just really difficult to be able to see appropriately. So the little circle around the edge is kind of going to give us the you know, what we've got, so we don't want to hit too hard here. But you know, when that starts getting up and it's not white and it's red and all of that, we know we're going too fast. You know, and the biggest thing, as with any lawn mowing, is getting around the edges. But again, we can do things with a trimmer. Again, because we're in Britain, mainly, I think. It's, I guess, referred to as a strimmer. I've seen it on screens and other things. I will say the corners here, this is new. Things usually are not this tight. You're not like, there's usually more of a border that we can get to. Oh boy. So, I mean, we've got these bushes, so we should be okay. But just want to get nearby. Nice thing is there aren't flowers that we're running into. That's usually always a problem. See, I hate, it's in essence a blind curve, like, and so it's like, am I damaging something? But yeah, the nice thing is it's more forgiving in that regard, because yeah, I mean, we can get under the bushes. Yeah, I'll probably just do that and come back with a trimmer later, because I'm spending a lot of time playing around otherwise, which doesn't really help anybody. So yeah, he's having all kinds of fun. Now we've got to be careful here. I guess it's just a hedge. I thought it was, I don't know what I thought it was. But yeah, like once we've got the edge together, you know, we can then drive around a lot quicker in other areas. So again, we'll go back over here, try to see what we can't see, and try to get under there as much as we can, because it's just obviously faster with the mower than it is with everything else. So, pretty big space, honestly. This is taking a lot longer than I would have anticipated just to get around one time. You know, and I can usually go quicker, but, you know, it's telling me that it's 29 minutes, but you'd really be flying, and then I think you'd be bouncing off the walls a lot, which obviously is something you want to try to avoid, because it does damage to your equipment if nothing else. Alright. Again, we'll go around, try to see where we're at here. So a little bit of a hedge. We're bouncing into the walls again. I mean, we're not getting yelled at specifically, like, ooh, you damaged. Where sometimes with flowers it'll tell you, oh, there's a fine. But, I don't know. I mean, there is a quick pop-up that's happening. Alright, I think we're getting... Yeah, there's the gate. So we have made it around. So then usually what I tend to do is I tend to go kind of get around everything else that I want to obviously avoid damaging and so forth. So just do this is as tight as I can turn, so I might have to come back. But you can see, like, see now that we're moving, like, our percentage goes up pretty aggressively. So I may go out and then come back. And then we'll just worry about that as another pass. But let's go get around the pool. Is that a ledge or just a border? Yeah, it's just a border. Alright. Well, it's good because then we can overlap a little bit and it shouldn't cause any damage. We'll just continue on to the big fancy ampersand. I'll probably go get the tree while I'm here, up on the hill. But, you know, now we're 13%, and I think we had to get 99.95, or 99.5, I should say. So, just want to be careful that we're not zipping around and hitting things before we want. So we got a few trees framing off the area, and obviously the installations as they mentioned. So with the turning radius is tighter. So and again, it's always a question of, like, is it just better to go back with the trimmer, or is it better to do something else? I don't know. It's kind of the 6 1/2 dozen of the other mentality, I guess. The reflectivity is kind of weird because you can see it's just moving along with us. So, not the most logical. You would think it would kind of stay static and our view of it would change, but it's just like an overlay that floats on the water, I guess. Alright, so let me get this side. Yeah, you got to be careful, like if it's wet, or even if it's not, if you turn too quick and too sharp, you can sometimes dig things out, which is not good. Alright, the good news is I seem to be able to move pretty fast. Alright, we'll get this, and then I think, other than the front end here, or the top end here, and we gotta get that tree behind us. Actually, we gotta, whoops, gotta get both of the trees. I was too worried about the tree, and I didn't line up and do a good cut here. But we'll get these couple trees, and then I think we've done a good majority of all the obstacles in the yard, and then it's just kind of doing everything in between, making as much progress as quickly as we can. But no, what I was saying is, it seems to be that I had my foot to the floor a couple times, and we weren't choking the mower, which is always pleasant. Alright, so now it's just kind of figuring out what makes sense on the pattern. So let me get out to the edge, I guess. And then we'll just start kind of going around, and it should, like any riding lawnmower, you know, eventually kind of, those curves start to flatten out and everything works. But, you know, this is obviously much more appropriate, or, you know, easier to deal with as far as maneuvering. Although, yeah, that's kind of tight, and I missed some there, so I suppose, need to be a bit careful. The lighting is always difficult. I think that's part of the fun of everything, is, you know, what are you really seeing, and can you tell where you're at? Alright. Going around here. About 25%. But I think the next 25% will go a lot faster. So it took us, say, 11 minutes if we're being conservative. Well, that's not being conservative. That's actually being aggressive, because it certainly didn't take us another 30 seconds to get the 1%. But if we're past 50% by 22 minutes in, we're moving along quicker. I mean, I'm hoping by 22 minutes in we're past 75% at this point, but yeah, you can't see this at all to kind of tell. It's all a visual. I feel like mowing my normal lawn, this is kind of what I feel like sometimes, where it's like I can't tell where the line is. Right, but this again was finally another rotation around the yard. So it took that long. This is where I came out, and then you can see I turned and started to take off. So we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna let this go. Sometimes with yards I kind of skip the piece in the middle, but given this is a new location and all, I think people might be more interested, and given it's been a while, we might have a lot of new folks who got this to pop up on their feed and are like, well, let me go see what's happening here. But yeah, I'm not certain what I would say my goal is with this sim in the series. I know I haven't like done everything you can. I certainly don't have any of the large equipment yet. I haven't made enough money for that, and I'm pretty sure I have not unlocked all the locations we can mow and all of that. So I mean, there's certainly just progress in the game to be able to do. I know on the achievement side on Steam, I'm just past 50%. I think I have 20 out of 44 or something. That doesn't sound right, though, now that I say that. So, I don't know. But I have achievements to get done. I haven't looked specifically what they require, because that's really not usually what I'm doing. I'm not normally achievement hunting. I mean, I do that at some point. Sorry, a little bit of a coughing fit, so I was stumbling around for my mute button on the microphone, which happens to be at the end of the cord where the USB goes into the front of the computer, so it's I gotta lean over and get to it. So wasn't working. Normally I can do it as I go along, and you don't really necessarily know I'm doing it, but it was distracting enough. I figured I'd explain to you what the heck the problem was. So yeah, sometimes it looks like things aren't getting mowed, but it's just the wheels doing things in the grass. So there is that side of it, but I'm trying to avoid pieces laying around. Once we're out with the trimmer, there are things you can do to press a button to kind of show you the grass that is still uncut. It kind of shows up in this white overlay as it's flowing around. But it's not uncommon that I only get to like 95% on the lawnmower, and then the other 5% has to happen with the trimmer. I would hope in this case that wouldn't be what the result is, but you know, we're fooling ourselves if we don't think there's something going on as far as you know, the edges of the wall and stuff. I'm sure there's a lot more grass that is there than I think, or that appears to be there. So that's just going to obviously create a bigger issue and leave more stuff laying around. So we're about 5 minutes once we got past the you know, 25% mark, and we're already at 41. So I think we're in good shape of in less than 11 minutes being at more than 50, being at 50%. But again, time will tell, because the other thing is, like, as I have more open space that I'm maneuvering through, I mean, right now, you know, the issue is you want to maximize what I'd call working time. If I was talking to you about Farming Simulator, is, you know, I want to be mowing actual grass that needs to be mowed, because otherwise I'm just burning energy. Again, it's an eco mower, so I think this is just electricity. It's charged, but I'm burning energy, but I'm not gaining any progress. And obviously, we want to progress as quickly as we can, because the goal of lawn mowing is to have the lawn mowed to the customer's satisfaction. But yeah, I also think my company can progress as far as its trust factor. I think we're in trusted at this point, but I think there's different levels. Again, it's been I think since April. Ooh, I didn't mean to hit that hard. I thought I had a clearer view of that. I'm gonna try to get this taken care of here now. There we go. So that should get me most of what I need, but that's exactly the type of thing that I'm talking about. Like, there was a lot of time there that we didn't, we weren't cutting grass. Yeah, these corners are they're like tucking in too much. I don't like that. So I don't know that there's going to be a better way other than to really kind of appropriately take the corners. So we're getting close. We're getting close to 50%. Thinking before we hit the tree? Maybe not. No, there we go. So halfway done. And he does a lot of this I'm bored thing, which is interesting. I mean, we're still turning, and it's not like things aren't happening, so... Alright. Do that. Again, turn this a little sharper. And the goal will be, you know, where are we going to be at 22 minutes? I don't think we're going to be at 75, which was my hope. But I don't see that happening, because we're, in essence, already slowing down a bit, because I'm having to do stuff like this, where to efficiently get enough and not just make a wide sweeping turn and cut in, that I'm doing stuff a little bit where I'm not cutting and I'm not moving. But we're down to, what, 2 more minutes, basically. So, 60%? Seems like that would be possible. Again, I think it was 29 minutes to, you know, to make it. Now again, like, we've dealt with the bench, so now this part I'll be able to be much more aggressive, might be the wrong word, but direct, where I'm actually mowing. Yeah, I just don't want to keep cutting. I think I missed that whole segment, although it's hard to tell because it looks like it just laid it down. I don't know. Maybe 60 won't happen. I don't know. It's so hard to tell. So just need to be careful. Now that the trees are starting to come into play, we're going to have to maneuver around those. We obviously don't want to hit those. But yeah, typically in these British gardens, there's been flowers, and then that's where I run into problems, is I run over flowers, and then you get a fine here and there, because you've chopped up their flowers, and they're not happy with that. But bushes tend to be a little more forgiving. Well, we're gonna make 60, so that's good. But we're probably just barely gonna make 60. We might not even get to 61, we'll see. Because it is taking some time. Oh, we did make 61. And let's see. There we go, 61.7. But we went from 25 to 61.7 in 11 minutes. The question is, you know, if I do that again, because that's what, not quite 40, it's like 30 something. Like, that means we should be pretty close to being done in another 11 minutes, which would honestly be excellent, because I always seem to struggle to make it in the time they suggest. I think part of it is, again, I don't have the best equipment yet. Now again, you shouldn't come in here with a really large lawnmower according to how this looks. I can also try to perhaps get around the trees a little bit better, and get the parts I missed when we're doing that. Because those will be, you know, that's how you get to that 0.1% that you need here and there. But yeah, it's like once we cross the 90% threshold, that's when it really starts getting both exciting and frustrating, because when you're down to that final 10%, that also means obviously there's a lot of areas that still, you know, that are done already, and so you're not going to gain a whole lot, and then that becomes just delayed time again, where you're not in that work time mode. So yeah, I don't know if these trees are at different distances, because I would have thought I would have hit like all the trees at the same time now that I'm going around, that it would be symmetrical, but it doesn't appear to be the case. Because obviously, you know, 75% is a milestone, yes. See, because the problem is, like, I don't know if I back over things, if it basically mats it down and then it won't mow, or if it's just the way the grass is matted down. Not quite 70% yet. But absolutely we'll get there in this pass up this side of the yard. So no concern there. Again, trying to flatten this out a little bit. I really think I had a pretty good spot here around the tree. I don't see anything obvious. Oh yeah, I do. It's on the front side there, which will make it harder for me to actually touch. Alright. So maybe we'll hit 75 before we do another rotation of the yard, but again, we're getting into areas now where things are cut. We're close to the trees. Alright, let's see. So I've got some... I did a little bit there, but again, maybe I'll do this, and then there we go, because there's that. And then we'll cut this out, and then I think if I swing around we'll then have, we'll be done from this side of the tree. There we go. And then, you know, we won't have any piece sticking out or anything like that. Gonna go hit part of that grass. But getting really close to that new, or the next magic number, 75. It just, you know, it's a nice way to divide work like this, you know, every quarter, another quarter of the way done type of thing. Again, 11 minutes will be 33 minutes, so we'll see where we're at when we're there, but hopefully that we're getting really close to being done with the lawnmower part of it at that point, and then we're just having to trim. Now, obviously we don't want to get done with the lawnmower part earlier than we should, meaning obviously if I can do it with the lawnmower, obviously you can see the progress is significantly faster that way, simply because I'm traversing the yard or the space. I don't know if, you know, since this is theoretically maybe more of a public house, I don't know, maybe it's not public, it's just, it's got a fancy art installation. Alright, so, and this is kind of what I took care of on the other side that is a little bit of a mess here, but again, there's some grass there that's matted down and that I don't think I cut. Alright, so 77.2. But we are past 75, is, I guess, what my brain was thinking, but didn't come in. It was not being articulated by my mouth. So, yeah, the front of this, I think, is, again, you can see the grass waving. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. I'm going to back this up because there's just not a way. But yeah, it looks better around the tree. Because what you're looking for is usually if the grass is just like the blades are there, but they're not moving. If there's anything moving, that's grass that is not going to count as cut. And it's counting against our completeness. You know, and you can still get that in certain areas. That's why it's also important to keep your mower in good repair, because otherwise the blade condition goes down and you start having just poor cutting. I mean, I've gotten it to the point in some places where I've had it at like 50% and it's really not cutting well. But the blade seems to be, I'm not even sure where to go here. My goodness, I don't know what I'm looking at, so I'm just gonna do this. Whew. Whoa. That downhill, like, messed up my radius, because suddenly I was moving quicker. It seems like there's a good amount left, but I think, unfortunately, we're gonna be surprised pretty quickly, where it'll be like, we're going to hit 90% and it'll be like, I'm done. I don't understand. And then it'll be like, where do I go to get big percentages because I don't want to be trimming 10% of the yard. So hopefully it won't be quite that insane, but it may be. Because, yeah, we only went up like 1% since I started talking about that. So we're definitely going a lot slower. I may start to break pieces up into just doing segments of the yard, but right now, like, if I've got this whole side I can do, it seems still nice and efficient to just run this and do that. Alright, I circled around the last time, but I think that takes longer than backing up. I could be wrong. I was really thinking we'd be at 85 before we swept through the bottom there, but we finally got to 85. Let's see, but this is like Because, like, I can't even tell what's not done here. So I'm, like, half tempted to just get rid of this little triangle here, which I think is what I'm gonna do. Alright. And then... Goodness gracious, I don't know what I wanna mow. Yeah, so it's getting awkward now. Like, we're wasting a lot of time just wasting time. There's no other way to say it. Oops. Had to take a peek at something, but running off kilter here. Let me just check quickly. Nope, I'm still good. Just want to make sure that in my... got something I need to do in a bit. So, don't want to miss that, because that would not be good for me. Alright. Yeah, you want to meet your obligations. Simming is fun and all, but, you know, at the end of the day, you still got to do what you got to do in the real world. Otherwise, it creates problems, and those problems would then mean you can't do a whole lot of simming, so we'll leave it at that. 88%. I like that. We're getting to that next magic number, which is hitting the 90. Alright. Sweet. And then... will we? No, we won't. Because we're already at the edge. I'm like, will we hit 90? But we did not. Not quite yet. Maybe. Maybe before we get to the next portion of the yard. But we're having smaller and smaller pieces of grass is the problem. We did hit 90. But again, that little line that I just did really did nothing to add to my progress. Alright, so we got that. But we're getting a lot of little pieces here that just are not working. So I almost want to get these done here now on this end, so that I can just kind of cycle around and do the long runs. But 91.5 is a nice thing to see, because what I don't want is like, oh my goodness, I did all this and I did 0.5%, which I've seen stuff like that, so which is why I don't want to see it. But yeah, this side still has a pretty good solid amount of grass on this end of the yard. So we should be getting a good % or so as we go up and down. And then again, I think what I'm going to do is similar type thing, because especially near the bottom of the pool, we're getting really close to being done. So I'm just going to cut across a few times, hopefully get this wrapped up on this end, and then you know, we'll deal with the rest. So alright, that should do that. We'll go through here, just get all these pieces. That should have that. Alright, almost at 94. I think I left a little bit here. Oh, more than a little bit. Wow, that's, I think, more than a width. It is. That's a lot. Crazy. Alright, so this one's also like, it's almost like, gee, I need to just get rid of it. So let's circle around, because we're so close to the edge here, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to keep spending time going back and forth. So, but yeah, you can see now we're down to nothing. We're already past, we blew past the 33-minute mark. Alright, this is one pass, maybe? Yeah, alright, we got it all. So now we'll go up the edge. We'll get to 95 for sure, because I know I've got a good solid portion of grass there. But at this point, we're gonna kind of do this rectangle. Just kind of work it as we go. But again, we're smaller here, so we're making a lot less of a dent in what we need to mow. If I get to 97.5, I'll say that's great. Going up and down here, I don't think there's enough, frankly, to get me there. I hope I'm wrong, but I think I'm gonna be shy of it. So the good news is, you know, because initially when I started Mowing Simulator, I was like, well, do I get a penalty for taking longer? But I do not, which is good. And some of that, I think, is because you're not able to stack jobs. You know, so if it would be like a typical mowing service where you're going from one lawn to another. Oh, we did make 97.5. Look at that. I'm pleasantly surprised. Heck, we might even get 98. Let's see if this little bit will get us that. It did. Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, now this is a very tiny little square, though. So yeah, I think I just have this and that. I don't know that there's much else left, so that doesn't bode well, because then that will mean maybe I'm at 99%. And that means I need at least 0.5% with the trimmer, which is a lot. The trimmer obviously does not do... Whoops, there's a good hunk there. I'm definitely not going to leave that. No, I don't see it. Oh, I hate this. I think I got it, but I don't know. Alright, well, we are at 99, so we should be at 99.2 maybe by the time we finish. Alright, it does look like I got the piece, so maybe even 99.3 or 4. Huh? Wow, we got to 99.4. Alright, I need to get to 99.5. So one would think that I could do this without getting off the lawnmower. Is there a piece I missed? Some segments? There should be some. So maybe if I go around the other way, I'll get things by the wall that I haven't picked up and things like that. Let's see. Well, I saw the corner, so let me do that, because really, I mean, it's a good amount of grass that I still need, but this is, like, this hunk here is going to go a long way toward kind of getting me there than I can with the trimmer. And again, because I can traverse the yard faster this way, I think I did pretty well. We'll see. But under the bush there, I'm almost positive that'll give me enough. Just getting this. I'm surprised. I really thought that would have done it, because that was a good hunk of grass. But I'm going to get closer to the bushes here, because I do think there are some pieces under here that that we're missing. Wow. This is surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, there's some there. There we go. Leave location. So 40 minutes. So we're gonna turn off the blade. But, you know, the good news is then we don't have to cut with the trimmer at all. So those are great jobs. Because the trimmer's not fun. It's just a lot of waving the mouse around. Things like that, so we're going to get ourselves on here. And alright, so we're off. And we're going to leave the location. Gives us a quick view. I think we did a really good job, honestly. Alright, so, ooh, yeah. Basically, we negated our ground check time bonus, but we did have earnings of 20 pounds. And overall, 634. You know, we're getting close. So that's the Davies house. She did 886. I think we did well. So let's see. Yeah, trusted rank. We unlocked trusted 4. We still have trusted 5. So I've not done these professional challenges yet. That'll be something I'm sure I do at some point. Don't need to upgrade the headquarters that I know of. Let's see. One extra bay, yeah, because I don't have enough really for an extra employee, but let's go get our repairs done. So we're going to do a full repair, full refill, and we don't have a grass collector, so we don't need that. And then we'll go here, and the one she uses, actually this is the one I use, so the one she used was the other one. But not a bad result. So let's see, if I go to the employees, is there something else I can train her on? Yeah, the courses, so I think she is fully trained. She is an expert. Alright, so the active loans, total loaned, total outstanding. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna repay, and that way we don't have any loans hanging over us and losing any money. I think that will actually help. It's how I tend to like to do things. But at this point, you know, we've had a pretty good day. So we're going to head back here, but now we're to Friday. So again, our current fund's not very high, but our net worth is in really good shape, 171. You've got a lot of equipment, got buildings, you know, and it's things that we are in pretty good shape on at this point. But I think I want to keep growing without going into debt. So that will be more measured. So I know you might find simmers that are just like, hey, I want to get to the next new thing. I'm going to take out as many loans as I can, whatever. I'm a finance guy. I do financial coaching on the side. I'm not going to play in a way that encourages people to make poor financial decisions if they're choosing to run a lawn care company too. So my suggestion to folks would be do it this way. That way, if something goes wrong, you suddenly lose a bunch of contracts, you can't find work, whatever. It's not like, oh my God, I have this $1,350 loan payment, and what do I do? And so it just makes for a nicer, calmer way to do things. But if you've enjoyed this, but I'm sorry, so, you know, what that means is, yeah, the progress is going to be a little bit more deliberate. We're just going to mow a lot of lawns, and eventually when we can afford really big equipment, we'll worry about it then, but we've got a ways to go to do that. So we're just going to keep plugging along here as we can. If you've enjoyed this and haven't dropped a like, please consider that. If you are not a subscriber to the channel yet, please consider that as well. None of those things cost you money. You're not going to get bombarded with anything. You just get some visibility and also help the channel. But it's easier for you to find things as they come up so that you can see what's being put out here. And I will see you next time.